One. Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today on this edition of Business Basics. My name is Lee Iben. I'm the head coach at ActionCOACH Campus. And with me today is Sean McCarthy with Vetters. Now, Sean, I thought Vetters was in Washington, but that's not just the case, is it?
No, we started in Washington. My grandfather started it back in 1946 there in Washington. But no, we've grown over the years, and we've bought different dealerships in Wisconsin and Illinois and that. But right now we just have the two stores, one in Coralville and one in Washington.
Okay, great. And that was started by Grandpa Keith. Is that right? I think I was reading that earlier.
Correct, Keith Vetter. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, water softening. Why Culligan? What do I need to know about water softening and water purification systems? And just explain to me what that's all about.
Sure. So we kind of try to break it down that basically there's kind of two types of water you have in your home. We have what we call working water and your drinking water, right?
Okay.
And so your working water is the water you use to shower and bathe and wash your clothes and dishes and even sometimes cook with.
Right.
And the drinking water is obviously the water you ingest, you drink, right? And so, there's two things you got to take into account is, you don't always have to have your working water be as clean as your drinking water. You want your drinking water to be the best quality, high quality water as you can have. And so we try to let people know that, really they should treat all the water in their home, their whole home, and have both a softening that takes care of your working water and then a reverse osmosis system that filters and takes care of your drinking water.
Gotcha. And why is that important? Reverse osmosis. I'll be devil's advocate here. Why is that important?
Sure. So reverse osmosis filters the water down to the molecular level, and so that removes 99.9% of most of the impurities in your water, if you have impurities in your water. And so, and in this day and age, drinking water is a huge concern for everyone. And whether you're on well water or even if you're on municipal water and the city's filtering with it, when the city's dealing with the volume of water they're dealing with, while they're doing a great job, they cannot possibly filter it down to the level we can in your home. Right. And so if you want to make sure you're having the highest quality, the most healthy water you can drink, that's why that system is important.
And I would imagine dollar for dollar, it's more effective, more efficient to have a system like yours in our home than going out and buying a whole bunch of bottled water, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We can save you money actually with our systems, both the softening and that, the soft water reduce the hardness in the water, so you don't need to use, you can reduce your cleaning and soaps by 75%. So over time it pays for itself. And then same thing with the reverse osmosis. It's, costs you pennies a day as opposed to dollars a day you're buying in bottled water if you're doing that route, right?
Right. And soft water is the best. I mean, you're showering up in the morning, it's like, how come I'm getting so lathery?
Right.
It's excellent. So tell me about your target market, the people that you serve. How big of a base or broad of a reach do you guys take care of?
So we cover a large area. Washington, was one of the first franchises Culligan had back in 1946. So it is quite a large area that we cover. We go all the way to Ottumwa and Mount Pleasant and Fairfield, even down into northern Missouri.
Wow.
And that, and then up here in Coralville, we cover Coralville, Iowa City, North Liberty, Tiffin, Oxford, Amana, Williamsburg, even up into Benton County, and that. So it's quite a large area in southeast Iowa we cover. So
that's great. And you're with Culligan. That's your franchise that you guys are part of, right? And that seems. I think even when I was a kid, and I'm 58, when I was a kid, it was like, hey, Culligan, man. I think I still got one of those little clickers. You remember those little clickers they used to give away way back when at the fair and stuff, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think Culligan is probably the most well-known water conditioning franchise system out there.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the most well-known. You know, we for a long time, right? We were the most well-known, and you know, unfortunately, um, uh, we went through a time there where the advertising wasn't as much, and so the younger generation doesn't know Culligan as well. So we've been working really hard the last 3, 4, 5 years on trying to change our marketing strategy to try to reach the younger generations that may not know of Culligan.
Right. And is that, how much of that is on you to do that, Sean, as opposed to maybe Culligan corporate, the franchisor? How do you guys split that up?
So it's kind of split, you know, actually kind of three ways, right?
Okay.
So it's the national marketing that Culligan does, and that's really where they've ramped up in the last 5 years. For I don't know, about 10 years nationally, Culligan didn't do anything.
Okay.
And so now they've ramped up and they're doing a lot of advertising nationally. And then we have an ad agency and a co-op that advertises for the state of Iowa. And then
Okay.
we do our own advertising locally here. So it's kind of
Right.
a third, and a third.
Yeah. And it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, especially when you can get, and that's what really has helped is getting all three of those working together and trying to communicate the same message out to everyone at the same time. So so you get the biggest bang for your buck with your advertising.
Oh, I agree. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions that business owners have is that they can just market for a while, then forget about it because the customers will just naturally come in. And
Right.
that's not the case, is it?
No, and you know, advertising is a tough thing because you know, no one has the budget that Coke and Pepsi have, so it is you can't be on everything all the time, right? And so
Right.
it is very hard to decide, okay, what are we going to do, and how much are we going to do, and when are we going to do it, and trying to figure out what works and doesn't work, and that, you know, you wish you just knew, oh, well, if we do this, we'll get this, right? It's
Right.
not that way, and nobody seems to know the magic bullet that's going to work, or we'd all be doing it. And so that is
Yes.
a huge challenge. And you know, that's what's helped too is we have some advertising agencies that Culligan works with and our co-op works with to help guide us. But it still is. It seems like, you know, we try something and it may work this time, and the next time we do it, it doesn't work, and it's like, ugh, now we
Isn't
got
that
to try
something?
something else. And so it is. It's you know, the world of marketing and advertising, it never stays the same. It's always changing.
Well, the pieces keep moving around.
Yeah.
Have you found one type of campaign that you seem to like better than others?
No, I mean, you know, we've certainly put a lot into, you know, internet advertising and that, and you know, what we're trying to focus more on is the social media aspect of
Yes.
advertising and that, and I think we get a lot out of that. But that takes time and somebody that knows how to do it, you know. And you know, just when I figured out Facebook, now it's all
LinkedIn.
TikTok and these
Oh
other
yeah.
things, and I'm like, I can't do that. But luckily, we have some younger staff members that know how all that works and are helping us out with that. But
Right.
the other big thing that's helped us a lot is just Google reviews. You know, having
Yep.
reviews out there helps a lot. In that, you know, just 4 years ago, I think it was, we had 0 Google reviews, and we now have 121 Google reviews with a score of 4.7. So,
That's
and it's
fantastic.
great because a lot of, not only do we just, you know, obviously some people just leave us, you know, a star rating, but a lot of them write like a book about and name our employees by name and say what a great job they're doing and that. And I take pride in that as owner, and I respond to every Google review, whether it's good or bad.
Hmm.
Luckily, I can't even remember the last time we had a negative one, but you know, it is important to respond to those negative ones because sometimes it was there's been a few we've been able to turn around, you know, and
Yeah.
it was just a simple misunderstanding or something like that, and we're able to help them out and actually turn them around to a positive.
You better believe it. And how big of a staff do you have?
So we have 15 employees right
Okay.
now
Yeah. And it's, you touched on
between the
it.
two stores.
Yeah, but you touched on it between your salespeople, your delivery people, your front desk people, even the bookkeeping folks.
Yep.
They've all got to have their A game on because of social media these days.
Right.
I mean, one or two bad reviews, and it's hard to undo those, isn't it?
Absolutely. So yeah, and that's, I think, what customers are looking now, because they have that information and access to that information. They can go on and look and see, and that's what we've heard is, customers have said, oh, well, we looked at your reviews and decided to go with you because of the reviews you have.
Right. Right. I mean, there is competition out there. Culligan, thank goodness, has a great name and a great history, clear back to the 1940s, for crying out loud.
Right.
But it's always re-education. There's always that new group of homeowners coming into play, and you start from square one.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me, COVID-19 impacted everybody. How did it impact your business?
So, many ways, obviously the first thing we had to do is, and that is we had to put together an infectious disease policy and sit down with our employees and go over, all the CDC guidelines and that, and implement policies that if you're not feeling well, you need to stay home and that, because, it's tough. I know even myself is like, well, if I'm not feeling well, I'll push through it and I'll come in today and work. And
Right.
you forget that you're putting others at risk of getting sick. Now, usually it was just a cold or the flu or something like that. It wasn't as serious as this was. Now it's, opened your eyes to everything that you could be harming others and not even realizing it. Right. And so, right, we've had to put in a lot of extra safety measures, and one of the things that's you didn't think about is the extra money that you have to put into all the PPE. So
Exactly.
there's certain places that require face shields, so we had to buy face shields, we got to buy masks, we got to buy gloves, we got to buy sanitizer, we got to buy wipes. It just keeps going and going, and so that is certainly none of that we had in the budget for this year, right?
Right.
So that has certainly been a challenge. And then the biggest challenge is just being a small company with only 15 employees. If even one person's out, it affects us.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, no one's been positive that works here, but we've had family members and friends and this and that, and so they've had to be quarantined and just and then two, doing the right thing because they're not feeling well, they won't come in that day and those kinds of things. So it's been a very challenge to keep, because I was just kind of joking, but I don't know how far it is, but I don't know, since this all started, if we've had we've only had a few days where we've been full staffed.
Wow. Right.
Because of one reason or another. So
yeah, it's just crazy. It's tough because, I mean, we're safe today, but depending on who we come in contact with,
right,
you just don't know. And you're right. I mean, unless a business has a set aside savings account or enough in their profit margin, these extra expenses they threw a lot of us for a loop, didn't they?
They did. And we've even seen where a couple other businesses have started charging us a safety fee to help cover those costs and that. And so, we've had that discussion. I'm not sure where we'll end up going on that. But it is certainly, all that adds up, and a lot of that you're having to, rebuy, all that's, you can't reuse a lot of that stuff. So you have to buy and buy and buy. And so it adds up.
It's business owners, I think we've got to be some of the most optimistic people on the planet, Sean. I mean, seriously, you're dealing with COVID-19, and then wham, this windstorm comes through last week and rips the C off of your logo.
Right.
It's like every day, right? You don't know what's going to be on the end of that phone call, right?
Right. And then you're without power for 2 days and internet, and it's yeah. And we didn't even have cell phones for what that was was the biggest challenge that first day after that Tuesday after storm is, we didn't have, not only did we not have power, but the cell phones were down. So we couldn't communicate at all. It was,
Right.
that's the first time we've ever had, we've had blizzards before or something like that where we lost power or internet and this and that, but we could still all communicate.
Right.
It's one of those things you don't know what you got till it's gone. And not only were your landlines down, but you can, text or call, make a phone call with your cell phone and communicate your staff where everyone was and what they're doing. That was scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You're exactly right. So interesting question is, smart people learn from their mistakes, but wise people learn from the mistakes of others. Now, you've been doing this for how many years? You've been with Culligan. I mean, you're probably your whole life, but I mean,
right, kind of.
Yeah,
but I've been back 14 years now. I
okay.
went off to college and worked in another field for 16 years, and then came back in 2006 to help take over the family business.
Well, now that's interesting. So what did you do before that?
So I went to school for music industry and TV production.
Okay.
And in Columbus, Ohio. And then I ended up working for a live event company, and we would do festivals and
wow.
concerts and events. And so I started out in sound and then moved into video and did, the videos and the projection screens for concerts and festivals and all that, and that for 16 years. So.
Wow. Hard work, but fun work, I bet.
It was fun, but it was, 24/7, 365 days a week. I worked every holiday because everybody had an event on a holiday and
right.
And so after 16 years, I just got burned out. Yeah, it was too
much. Time to take over the family business, right?
Yep.
And so you bought it from your dad, I assume?
Well, my mom and dad Marty and Judy are still owners as well. So.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
And then my sister as well. So there's 4 of us that own it currently.
Gotcha. And at some point there'll be a succession plan in place to buy them out. Okay, perfect. Yep. So tell me, so for other folks that are in business or looking to start their own business, give me some advice. What's your recommendation? What's your wisdom?
So here's what I would say. Now, I don't know that we've figured it all out yet because it is a challenge, but I will say one of our big mistakes is we didn't hire people that fit into our culture.
Okay.
And by not doing that, we struggled for a couple of years and basically had to clean house, if you will, and rehire practically every position. And that because we were just hiring people and not really looking, do they fit our culture or what we're trying to accomplish in that. And while some of them were good people, they just didn't fit the culture we were going for. And it was a struggle. And so when hiring, I think one of the things you need to look at besides just their skill set is, are they going to be a good fit in our culture or not? And so and sometimes it's hard. You think they're going to be a good fit, and then you hire them like, who's this person? That's not who I interviewed, right? And so that happens. So then the other advice I would say is, do not hang on to somebody that isn't fitting longer than you should, right? And that's the challenge too, because if you let them go, especially when you're a small company, now you got a hole to fill, and somebody's got to take up that slack till you can find the right person that fits your culture.
Right.
And, it's challenging, but it's worth it because right now we have a great team. Everyone fits in our culture, and that's indicative of the customer reviews we're getting right now. And that's
certainly
what
is
changed that. I mentioned 4 years ago we didn't have any Google reviews, and that's because we did not have the right culture and the right people, I guess, fitting our culture and so it's taken us last 4 years of getting that fixed.
But now you're 4.7 out of 5 stars on Google. So that's fantastic. Right.
Yeah.
So what did you change? How did you start to make sure they fit in your culture? Because I've always heard, hire slow, but fire fast, right? So you're going to take your time bringing them on.
Right.
So how do you explain your culture to them and make sure they get it?
So, one thing we did is we hired an HR consulting firm to help us define what our culture was. I think was part of our problem is while we all said what we wanted to do, we didn't really understand it or know it in that, you know. And so part of it was the first thing I did is I changed our mission statement, right?
Good.
It used to be all about, we provide the best water and best equipment and best that. And so our mission statement now is that we provide the best customer experience.
Fantastic.
We raise the quality of life by improving life's most important element, water. But the first statement is we provide the best customer experience. And so putting that in there and putting that first in the mission statement, that's what we want. That's what we're all about. The water and the equipment is all secondary. It's all about providing the best customer experience. And so we want people that are going to do that.
Excellent. Excellent. Good move. That was a good move. I mean, it's made life easier, I'm sure.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. More work on the front end, but now that you've done it.
Right.
Yeah. That's excellent advice. So tell me, what is it that's inspiring to you every day? What gets you out of bed and said, let's go?
So, one thing that inspires us is, we won the best top dealer award in 2018, and we came close in 2019. And so, that's kind of always our one of our missions is to get in the top dealer award. There's also the customer review dashboards in that. And so we've been in the top 10 in that many times. So we try to strive to get top 10 in the best customer reviews in the Culligan system. And right now I think we're 11th. So we're really close. And that's out of, Culligan has 600 plus dealers. So
wow,
the 11th out of 600 is still really great,
That's impressive.
And so that, that's, and it's great again with the employees we have, and everyone enjoys coming to work and has fun in what they do and likes what they do or loves what they do. And so, that's what motivates me, is making sure everyone is enjoying their work, because if they don't enjoy it, they can't help the customers.
Right. I mean, it's all about the customers. At the end of the day, it's all about the customers. I don't care what product or service you have. We have to take care of our customers.
my father's favorite saying is who signs your paycheck?
Yeah, exactly.
I always ask employees, who signs your paychecks? And I'll be like, you do. And it's like, no, the customers sign your paycheck.
Words of wisdom from Dad. That's for sure. Yep. I love that. All right. Hey, don't go away. We're going to wrap this up real quick. Thank you all today for watching this episode of Business Basics. Our guest today was Sean McCarthy with Vetters Culligan, based out of Washington, Iowa, but locations in Coralville as well. My name is Lee Iben with ActionCOACH Campus. We appreciate you for watching today. Stay tuned for next episode. Take care.